Hey ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it. Here comes another top 5 series. And if you look at the title, it's going to be a top 5 ultimate of all time. And when I say all time, I mean 6.74, the latest map. And as you guys know, top 5 ultimates, it's going to be so hard to compare. Where do you even start? Are we going to talk about teamfight ultimates? Are we going to talk about utility ultimates? Are we going to talk about support ultimates? There's just so much criteria and judges. So I'm not even going to try to make my own top 5 list. So instead, I actually put up a poll about 2 or 3 weeks back, and I asked you guys, the viewers, to vote for your top 5 votes. I've collected over 1,000 votes or so. So yes, 1,000 individuals actually selected their top 5s, and I basically, took the top 5 vote getters as the winners of this top 5. So keep in mind that these spells were selected by you, quote unquote you, the viewers, and not me, Luminous. Alright, without further ado, let's go into the top 5 list. At number 5, getting 193 votes, Ice Blast from Ancient Apparition. Of course, now Ice Blast does some decent damage. 250 at level 1, 350 at level 2, 450 at level 3. Probably you're not going to see 450 because, Ancient Apparition mostly played as a utility / supports. Generally don't get the highest level. Ice Blast does that nice DOT damage to actually prevent any bottle loading, salving, so that's pretty cool. More importantly though, it does that cool shatter effect. It instant kills, one of the few spells in the game that does that kind of effect. Under when your HP is under a certain amount %. So very, very cool ultimate. And this ultimate alone shuts down multiple strategy in competitive scene. You cannot just pick certain heroes. For example, Omni Knight is, somewhat weakened. Necrolyze completely, wrecked upon. Some other heroes such as Chen, Enchantress are pretty much not really shut down, but it's just you gotta play around the Ice Blast. So a single Ice Blast ultimate that could really do a lot in terms of forcing enemy teams to not pick certain heroes. That's pretty cool if you ask me. It does everything. It team fights, it farms for you, it counter push for you, it pushes for you, and all of that for a 45-second cooldown. If you ask me, that's pretty good. And now, in terms of personal experience playing with the Ancient Apparition, I feel like that 45-second cooldown, it's always too long. Even though it's so short in terms of number, you always want to have the Ice Blast up because it's just so damn good, right? Once you have enough mana to support spamming this, quote-unquote, spamming this spell, you want to just use it all the time. And we all have seen those awesome moments for the across the map World Dota snipes. So it's just really, really cool ultimate. And interestingly, this ultimate has one of the longest notes on Play Dota. If you go to the Ancient Apparition hero page and look at Ancient Ice Blast as a spell, yeah man, it has like 8 or 9 lines of text. There's so many mechanic stuff going on. I always get mechanic questions about Ice Blast, so it's a very kind of deep mechanic spell, and it's always, it's a very, very strong spell in the game. So that was Ice Blast at number 5. And number 4 with 213 votes, Chronosphere. So from our Void, our Faceless Void, and as you guys know, at level 16 it gives you 5 seconds of full disable, or the correct mechanic term is called pause. Pretty much just stun and such. And of course it does reveal invisible hero as well, so you could actually counterpick Void or counterpick Ricky with Void, because Chronosphere is pretty boss like that. And we're familiar with what you can do with the Chronosphere, shut down entire team. But here's where I really have an issue with an ultimate like this. This ultimate has a very high propensity to be either really, really awesome or really, really suck big time. You know what I'm saying? Where you have a really farm Void, you jump in, you drop down the Chronosphere, game's over. You win a team fight, you go Rax, you go Roche, and the game is smooth sailing. If you have a really, really, if you guys are far behind, you drop the Chronosphere, not only do you not kill anything, you make your team think you could kill something, you guys fight that, and then you guys die, and then, the other stuff happen. Also, when you guys are far behind, the Chronosphere, it actually doesn't help you do damage. It traps your teammates. How many times have you been owned by your noob Void teammates, but when they Chronosphere and, gets you and, 2 other enemies? It is just not, it's not cool. Another, high propensity for either awesomeness or failness is, if you're winning, right, man, oh dude, it's only 100-second cooldown, level 16, you could go own every other team fight. You can even use it a gank and still have that ultimate up for a team fight. Great. If you're losing that game, that thing never ever cools down. So I hope you guys get what I'm saying there. So it's such a swingy ultimate in a sense that if you hit one, you're gonna be great. If you miss one, oh man, Void basically is a big melee creep in that sense, right? Speaking of like fail voids, how many times have you seen your teammates drop a chronosphere when they're getting ganked and run? Like that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Use chrono to run, but hey, it can be used as an escape spell, so that's one more thing. Very cool for that. One other really cool thing about Chronosphere that's not really much talked about, I feel like Chronosphere is such an awesome spell for pubbing games because it allows you to go for other items on Void, not the standard Mask of Madness, Treads, and what have you. You go for Aga, Aga Chronosphere gives you a 60-second cooldown, increase your duration, pretty nice. You could go for Refresher Chronosphere, hey, 10-second disable, pretty decent. Who cares if you're doing no damage? Hey, you're disabling for 10 seconds, right? Necro 3 within your Chronosphere, man, you can buy Necro 3 on any heroes, including because hey, those things move in the Chronosphere, they do damage, they monitor. Just all these cool builds of the ultimate at number 4. So Chronosphere number 4. And number 3, getting 224 votes, we have Echo Slam, of course, from everyone's favorite Cal, the Earthshaker. And Echo Slam, I don't need to talk too much about it. I'm sure you guys have seen crazy World Dota 5-man Echo getting a rampage, things like that. I mean, it does very, very decent damage in mid-game. In fact, huge damage in mid-game, even if there's not many creeps around. If there's creeps around, it is just a cheesy ultimate. There's one clip where, in that infamous 5 Necro 3 book, I think Angel, who was playing the Earthshaker, Echo Slam like 7 Necro books or something insane like that, and it was just a huge blow of explosion. It's one of the coolest animation in the game. Echo Slam is a spell that gives you a lot of tricks to do as well. Like, let's say imagine your enemies are pushing a tier 2 tower, you just teleport right in there. And then what do? They probably either back off, or in some cases in pub games, they don't really back off. Let's say, oh, they're like, oh, we got 5 here. Who's this scrub teleporting in? We're going to surround him. And then the Shaker teleporting in with a huge echo, and that's like pretty cool stuff. You can ask your teammates to force-zap you in. That's a very good way to initiate as well, especially if the enemy team is not expecting a blink. And then, the other ways like Surge, all those like increased movement speed way to immediately throw you in. Toss Echo Slam's pretty cool as well. So there's, there's cool tricks with Echo Slam, but the most stable build is to go for the Blink Dagger in and give you the Echo, and then the Chain Stun comes in. Although there's one other cool item build way you can actually initiate. It's the Tank Shaker build. You just Vanguard or sometimes even BKB and walk straight in. Because generally when you see an enemy Shaker comes at you, what do? You're not afraid of him. He has no blink. You stun him and kill him. But when he runs at you, you throw a magic missile, he blocks it with the BKB, he runs in, you're like, oh shoot. Yeah, he could actually combo us with the Echo Slam. And of course, Echo Slam at number 3, just a sure awesomeness factor, right? It's all those glowing yellow lights, it's a huge explosion. It's a very intimidating ultimate, so when you drop in the middle of team fight, whether that ultimate, I mean, it does some decent damage, but perhaps in late game, not so much. But it's just an intimidating thing, like your whole team is getting blown up upon. It's an awesome ultimate in both damage and animation. I think that's very, very cool. So, at number 3, that was the Echo Slam. Number 2, with 276 votes, we have Ravage from Tidehunter. Tidehunter's Ravage is, I gotta say, probably the only ultimate in the game that you pick the hero just for the ultimate. His Anger Smash is pretty decent now. It's very low cooldown, does decent damage. But even before Anger Smash was buffed, you just pick the Tidehunter for the Ravage, because I mean it's an ultimate that stuns the entire damn screen. I'm not even kidding. It just stuns the entire screen. It's pretty insane. Keep in mind, it also stuns invisible heroes even if you don't see them. That's pretty cool. It stuns and damage them, so that's pretty cool. It has a very fast animation, and that's after a buff. Before the buff, or excuse me, after the nerf. Before the nerf, oh my goodness, when you press V, the entire screen just gets stunned. Now when you press V, it stuns slowly outwards, or not slowly, very quickly outwards. And I know this is just an ultimate discussion, but another reason why Ravage is such an insane spell is because Kraken Shell is on Tidehunter. That really ensures you always to get this game-breaking ultimate off, and it's a game-breaking ultimate. Now the mana cost is rather high on Ravage, but that's why that Tidehunter's always going Arcane Boots nowadays. So it doesn't matter too much as long as you get your Arcane, and generally you will. You can basically walk in with the backup of Kraken Shell and get off an entire stun on a screen. Alright, can I repeat that more? You stun a damn screen. That's how strong, like, your monitor gets stunned. Don't forget, like, it does decent damage, especially like during your first or second cast of it. It's really good damage. I think it's like 250 when you first cast it. Yeah, 250 damage at level 1. Pun fully intended. It is tide turning. It's a big nuke across the entire screen, right? So it's very, very cool. Now, of course, Ravage, I talked about it a billion times in my commentary. It's very easy to counter, or you can very easily play around it. If the Ravage ever whiffs, if it's possible to whiff a Ravage, and it definitely is against professional players, it has 150 seconds of cooldown. So when the dust settles, your enemy team has 2 full minutes to fight you 4v5. Because guess what? Tyhunter not the best hero without that ultimate on him. And of course, Ravage is heavily countered by BKB. Once the enemy team has BKB, you're gonna just run in thinking you're boss. You run in, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna drop my Ravage, and then they pop their BKB. You're like, oh, I'm gonna die. And it doesn't matter if you can get Blink Dagger. You could blink in and try to cast your Ravage, but because of your casting animation, really quick finger pros, or just really good players in general, will be able to cast your BKB before your Ravage actually hits them. So BKB just fully counters this ultimate, and you know, hey, you're strong sometimes, you're weak sometimes, but it's a very, very strong ultimate. The last thing I really love about this ultimate, about this spell, it's just the overall flavor. I mean, you know, it's a Ravage, you know, how many sexual innuendo can you make about Ravage? And just hold on, guys. Look at the animation. It's a whole bunch of tentacles coming up from the ground and poking everyone. Oh man, you guys say I love tentacle hentai. 276 people voted this. You know, maybe you guys love tentacle hentai. That's all I'm saying. Ravager number 2. And number 1, 300 votes, Black Hole. I think this might have something to do with Toby screaming Black Hole like crazy, like a maniac. But I mean, it's Black Hole. It's 400. No, did I say 400? I mean 400 milliseconds. Is that right? 400 milliseconds. 4 seconds of full disables right from level 6. Right from level 6. Gets through magical immunity. It's a Black Hole. Black Hole is a very interesting ultimate in the way that, you know, it scales. It doesn't scale at all in terms of increasing stun. Like a lot of other ultimates, like, you know, the Chronosphere, the Ravage, the more you level it, the longer it stuns. Black Hole, the first level, gives you the full duration of stun. When you level it up, you lower the cooldown by 10 seconds each, which, if you ask me, isn't a big deal. When you level it up, you increase your damage by 10, 20, 30, whatever. We don't use Black Hole for the damage, right? And also increase your mana cost by like a whole lot. I think by 100 every time you level it. I'm actually a big fan of not leveling the Black Hole. You know, especially if you're having a hard game Enigma, because it gives you the 4-second disable. The cooldown, you know, it's important sometimes, but you guys get what I'm saying. Now, despite the fact that it's easily canceled, and I'm sure you guys have seen so many Black Hole with any kind of mini stun, any kind of stun, and it just, I mean, in a pro game, a single fissure, a single shackle shot from afar, a hex, anything, just cancels your Black Hole. Despite the fact that it is so damn hard to land, like, come on. Black Hole is very hard to land, especially if the enemy team is expecting it, even if you have items like Blink or BKB. Despite the fact that you could use items within the Black Hole. Now, things like Yule Scepter, things like Force Staff has been nerfed, but you could still BKB out of Black Hole, or excuse me, you could still BKB within Black Hole, you could still Manta within Black Hole. Now, that's all Dota 1. I'm not sure whether it's in Dota 2. I have not seen it happen just yet. But yes, you could use items within Black Hole that might, you know, mitigate the coolness of Black Hole. But come on, despite of all of that, it is a Black Hole. It is immensely devastating. It's just like, if you channel it on the team for full duration, come on, man. The casters in the background are going crazy. Your teammates are screaming. It is, and of course on the other side, just like taking their hands off their mouths and on their face. Like it's that kind of ultimate. And you know what the coolest thing about Black Hole is? It's not one of those ultimates where you cast it, and even if you hit it right, like the enemy team just dies immediately. It's not like that. It's not a big explosive thing like Echo Slam. Your enemies get to sit there and wait for 3 seconds while watching their hero gets owned up. I think that's the coolest factor. It's cruel and it's immensely satisfying when you land, and that's why my personal favorite player, DGC, come on, man, giving me some Black Holes, and that's all it's about, man. Black Hole and number 1. So, at the end of this top 5 list, we have Ice Blast, Chronosphere, Echo Slam, Ravage, and Black Hole. All I gotta say is, people, over 1,000 people that voted on this list, can you guys get less creative? I mean, come on. There's 100 ultimates in the game, and you give me 5 Wombo Combo ultimates. They're cool. They're cool. I was able to spend 15 minutes to talk about them. They're cool. But come on, man. You guys are missing some. So, I'm not saying that these are gonna be my top 5 lists, but I'm definitely gonna consider them. Here's a couple. Ball Lightning, come on, it breaks the rule of Dota. Rearm, it further breaks the rule of Dota. Not only does it actually rearm your spells, it rearm your items as well. Come on, one of the few spells in the game that actually affects your inventory slots. Invokers Invoke, 10 spells. I think we're forgetting something, guys. Dark Rift, I know Dark Rift is the butt end of a lot of jokes, a teleport scroll for an ultimate. But to teleport your entire team, you can set up some big, Dark Rift ganks. It's pretty cool. Remote Mines, no one mentioned Remote Mine from Goblin Techies. Come on, that's a cool ult. So I think viewers or whoever that voted this are just lacking a lot of creativity when it comes to voting for these ultimates. Of course, I left it very blank. I was like, quote unquote, the best ultimates of all time. So they're probably thinking of game-changing ultimates that win you team fights, which is a fair point. Now, I won't be doing this voting thing very frequently. I'll, go back to the standard top 5 whatever, having me debating with someone else about it. But I feel like once in a while, having a voting thing would be very, very cool. So give me more ideas about top 5. And again, let me know what your list is. I'm very, very curious to hear what you guys think are the top 5 ultimates of 6.74. So if you enjoyed this top 5 list, I definitely had a lot of fun talking about it. And until next time, this is Luminous signing off. See you guys.